Who is the best since Larsson? In today's video we're debating who's the best striker since Henrik Larsson. So, the three strikers I've selected for this are Moussa Dembélé, Odsonne Edouard and Kyogo Furuhashi, which is the debate recently on social media, especially on Twitter. So yeah, we've also done a poll on Twitter, so please go follow it, Counter67, if you want involved in future videos, because this is kind of a tester of the debate on IRL kind of football and seeing how this content works. If it doesn't do so well, then we might not do it again, but I think it's a good starting point to have, a recent debate, especially after the cup final on the hoops. So, Moussa Dembélé, let's start with him. He played just under 100 games for Celtic before going on to play for Lyon and Atletico Madrid. For Celtic, he played 94 games, scoring 51 goals, very impressive, which leaves him with just over a goal every other game with 0.54, blah 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 blah. So yeah, very good goal return. So there's a reason why this debate's always a thing, because it means Celtic's done really well in this transfer window, in the transfer market should I say, getting three really good strikers and probably more, Gary Hooper I didn't even include from even further back. Moussa, unlike the other two, did score in the Champions League for Celtic, for example, that Man City overhead kick, fantastic, and then obviously went on to play very well for Lyon, etc. But we're on about them at Celtic. If we're going on for what they've done after Celtic or their career as a whole, you'd probably say Moussa's outright the best, because Edouard's only recently kind of had Palace as another option, Bob being a youth player at other clubs, maybe Toulouse, and Kyogo was in Japan. So yeah, we now move on to Odsonne Edouard. Moussa, very very good. We're not going too in depth because we want to see how the video responds to us first before I put a lot of statistics into a video, because it might be a bit too much for a light-hearted debate, because this just means Celtic's done really well. All three strikers are very good. So Edouard obviously was on loan first, 29 games, 11 goals. He then signed permanently, 150 games, 77 goals. So 88 as a whole, and 179 games, leaving him just under a goal every other game, 0.49, blah blah blah. So yeah, Odsonne Edouard very good, as well as Moussa Dembélé. Very good goal returns, basically a goal every other game. However, Edouard could maybe do a bit more on the ball compared to Moussa, but two, elite level strikers for Celtic, and are always a debate between who was the best French striker for Celtic between the two of them. And then move on to Kyogo, the third of the argument, and probably seen as the lesser one out of the three. However, Kyogo has played 70 games for Celtic at the time of recording and has 45 goals. A great return for Kyogo. This leaves him shockingly with the best goal per game ratio out of the three. Many probably would have thought Moussa, he's a brilliant striker and still is a brilliant striker, great finisher, puts the ball away. Probably like Edouard, he scores so many important goals, big goals. It seemed like he was scoring all the time, and he was, because it was basically a goal every other game, the two of them. But Kyogo has 0.6 goals, which means he's just better than a goal every other game. This is fantastic for a striker, and all three deserve so. It's interesting as well, because you have to take into the debate with Kyogo that when he was at Celtic, well, he's still at Celtic compared to the other two. He's at Celtic in his prime years, he's 28 at the moment, whilst the other two were a lot younger. They're early stages of their career, they're just trying to make a name for themselves. Where Kyogo, this is like him at his best, you'd have to say, most likely. So I think that does have to come to debate when you think about it, but we are basing it on Celtic, so it is an interesting debate when you bring goals per game and who has the better ratio and that. Kyogo this season is fantastic, 24 games, 19 goals in the Premiership with 1 assist, fantastic, Because it also comes into a similar debate when you think back to who did you prefer out of Giacomakis and Kyogo. There was a debate there because Giacomakis had a better shots to goal than Kyogo, but Kyogo's the better player, that's why I always edged with Kyogo. So out of the three, where do I rank them before we get to the Twitter poll, to see, do you guys agree with me, or how close do you see it all compared to me? So for me, even though Kyogo has the better goals per game, once we've done the statistics there, I'd still put him third for now, but he can always still move up because he's currently at the club. He can still always show how good a player is, even though he's in his prime, so we have to take that into perspective. But for me, he's third, but still a great striker, and he's got the double in the cup final to win it. He's done that 2 years in a row in the League Cup final against Hibs and against Rangers. Brilliant striker, brilliant moments he gave us. And then between me, the top two is very tight, but I'm going to edge with who I think is the better footballer as well as a good finisher, because I believe Musa is the best finisher, so I'm putting him second. He's still a great footballer, but I have him second, and odds on Edouard in first place. So that's the way I see it, but how do you see it? Let's head over to Twitter and see. So I put a tweet out saying, who's the best since Larsson? This may be for a video. So you had Kyogo with 17% of the votes, second place had 40%, and first place had 43%, so very tight between the top two. And you guys had Dembélé second and Edouard first, the same order as me. Very tight as well, so very similar to me, so it's good to see the audience. You guys have that, but I know that's not full perspective, because when I go on Twitter there's always a debate. Is Kyogo number one? Is Dembélé number one? Is Edouard number one? It's a debate that will keep going on, especially with Kyogo still at the club. And even if he was to leave the club, it would still be a debate, because all three strikers are very good, and that's a great thing for Celtic. That's why I wanted to start with this debate, because it's a light-hearted one where we're like, wow, we have just three great strikers to debate on. So yeah, if you want to see more debate like videos and maybe go a bit more in depth with stats and maybe bring some people on to talk, or maybe we continue with the Twitter polls, or yeah, stuff like that. So it's just a bit of a tester sort of video, so thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.